I'm at Eurogamer with Hitman's gameplay director, Christian Elverdam.
Yes.
So what's been going on with Hitman recently? Obviously, we've got a new game. Why now for Hitman?
Well, a lot of stuff is going on. We've obviously unveiled that we are doing Hitman Absolution on a brand new technology called Laser 2. Mm-hmm. And we also recently announced our new multiplayer mode called Contracts, both which we are very, very proud, obviously. For Hitman Absolution, it's been an interesting journey for us, building, almost like for the first time a Hitman game. We got to take a good long look at our DNA in the Hitman series, and then really figure out what do we want to improve. And I think some of the stuff you played today with for instance, the crowds in the Chinatown level is an answer to that question. That we felt that we could build, vast crowds with pretty detailed brains, if you will.
That's one thing I did notice. Is that pretty much every single person did look not identical, unique. Yeah. Whereas in previous games that I've seen, not just in Hitman, but things like Assassin's Creed, I've seen it's the model repeated quite a few times. So that did actually impress us quite a lot. We also were quite impressed with the variety of ways that we failed to kill but tried. Just things like you could poison the man's drugs with some fish. There was a chain you could hit and drop on him, and various other things. So is it pretty much like that the whole time? There are so many options that you can choose and just go nuts with.
Yes, definitely. I think when we looked at what is sort of at the core of a Hitman game, we had obviously the fantasy of being this silent assassin that no one really sees entering the location, and then someone mysteriously dies and no one is the wiser. But right next to that is actually the promise of choice, that you can go about the level how you want, and that there are a lot of different ways of solving the different missions in the game. And I think you've seen that in the King of Chinatown, that there are a lot of them. Some of them are obviously easier than others, and some of them require more knowledge of the level than others, and that's actually what we wanted.
Yeah, I thought that was really good. You can scope it out and redo it. I didn't do very well. Shin did very well, so that was interesting. In terms of things like the sniper challenge, what was the reasoning behind doing that? I mean, obviously to let people know about Hitman, but it's tied into the game, isn't it? So you can unlock things.
Well, the sniper challenge was a lot of things. We wanted a good pre-order incentive. That's for sure, something that felt like it had some value basically. But also we said that this is a way for us, if you're a fan of the franchise, then it's a way for us to kind of show you something that that you're a little bit familiar with, in the sense that you'll see that there are many ways of completing the sniper challenge. It's a simple little thing where you say, okay, it looks like at first thought it's just a guy on a roof with a sniper rifle, but it's actually running on the Absolution AI, which means that the way the characters react down on the roof and how they get help and how you can distract them and all that stuff is actually a little bit of a preview into the mind of AI of Hitman Absolution. And that's also why we felt it was a kind of a good way to introduce at least one element that is in the Absolution to new players, and that is in the sniper challenge. Something that looks simple can still be very complex and have a lot of replay value when you dig into it. And I think that's also the truth in Absolution, that a level is simple. You have a target in the middle of the pagoda. Your mission is to assassinate him. But when you start digging into it, there's actually a lot of stuff you can do.
Yes. Yeah, definitely. In terms of, it's strange because there seems to be a sudden influx of assassin games recently. Obviously, not intentionally, but we've got Hitman, Assassin's Creed, and Dishonored all coming out pretty much within 1 or 2 months of each other. Yeah. And what do you think is the reasoning behind that, in terms of, either players wanting to play these games and filling this niche, or just I just don't know.
That's a good question. Obviously I can't read the minds of the other games. For us, it's Hitman Absolution is coming out now because it's ready, and we took it to the place where we wanted it to be. Basically, I think the genre as a whole is an interesting place to be, where no matter what different time periods you can be in or which universes you can be in, I think each of these games deliver some different promises. Hitman Absolution, I think, where when you're playing a Hitman game is when you're in a real world. I don't know how to put it in real, in the sense that it could be your own
feasible world.
Yeah, and it's like contemporary. It's very much playing on social conventions that from your everyday life. Like, what is actually allowed? Can I go into this area? No, there's a bouncer telling me, you need to get out of here. Stuff you can relate to from your everyday life, and then you kind of get this. The satisfaction is that you get to be this sort of. 47 is always a little bit on the outside. This is like a little bit voyeuristic experience of eavesdropping on other people, and obviously being this black angel of death in the end. Picking out your target.
Okay. Dare I even ask if there's another one being planned after this, or is that just something you don't even want to talk about yet?
Well, it's very simple. I mean, obviously we will have more Hitman games in the future, but obviously beyond that, nothing is really out there yet.
Okay. Obviously, Agent 47, has got this sort of long past. Is more going to happen with that?
Well, I think some of that stuff you'll just have to wait and see. But I think we are constantly exploring who 47 is as a character, and also the world that he's in. I mean, it is a consistent universe, and we're trying to keep it consistent. But as for what that means, you will have to wait and see.
Okay, brilliant. What was your favourite part of making the game? Like, whether it was a feature, a character, what grabbed you the most in terms of the game?
I actually think that what grabbed me the most is seeing people creating and sharing contracts in the contracts mode. Because one thing is we craft obviously a lot of different gameplay elements, so all the accident kills and all that stuff. But I I think it was a great moment when I saw people actually, getting other characters into these accidents and then sharing that with each other, so that you get this feeling that this is their personal take on Hitman Absolution. So yeah, that's
really good. That's brilliant. That sounds really, really good. I'm looking forward to playing it again, hopefully spending a bit more time so I don't just screw up. But I am looking forward to trying the multiplayer. I think we may look at the multiplayer at some point. Is it multiple multiplayer, or is it just like 2 people, or how does it work exactly?
The way contract works is that basically when you enter contracts mode, you start if you want to create a contract in, for instance, King of Chinatown, you just enter the level as per normal, but the difference is that you now have the ability to mark anyone as a target, basically. So the point is that you get to choose who is the target in the assassinations. And then what we do is we'll measure how you are doing. So if you remain unseen, well, that will be a part of the contract. If you never miss a bullet, never miss a shot, that will be part of the contract. We measure all these different elements, and in the end, that will constitute the contract. The thing is that you're doing it as a player. You're playing it to create it. That's what we basically labeled the creation mode, play to create. And then you can share that. Once you completed it, you can share it with your friends, and then we'll actually try to. They will open up the same level. They'll see new targets, and they will know that maybe they need to remain unseen if you did so, and they'll have different requirements. But they will know that you did it in the first place, so they kind of know it's possible, and it's also taunting them a little bit to try to do better. Yeah,
we like that kind of thing. We like the competition side of things. So that sounds really good. It sounds like it's going to be an absolutely great game, and I am looking forward to trying it out. When is it coming out?
Hitman Absolution is coming out November 20th, and it's out on Xbox 360, PlayStation 3, and obviously also on the PC.
Brilliant.